Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, actually the thing is that by mistake, I put a different pin of the microphone. So I was talking for few minutes and you guys were not saying anything. So if you guys are not able to hear me, kindly let me know. Huh? Okay, because it's some blunder might happen from my side. So I hope now I am audible, right? Okay, so I hope I'm audible and I will I'll continue the lecture. So basically, what I was saying is that we will try to what this is the fourth lecture, I think fifth lecture on this unit. As per the university, we are supposed to take six lectures, but I will take one extra lecture. That is, I will take two more lectures apart from this because I just want to go through the design of the C clamp and separately C clamps and the screw jack. Okay, so what we did, we saw the what are the power screw different forms. We have seen nomenclature. We have also seen what are the power screws. Then we have seen a difference what the relation between helix angle and the lead lead and pitch. So basically tan alpha is equal to L upon pi dm. We have seen that. Then we have seen what is the torque required to raise and lower the load for the square as well as for the trapezoidal threads. Okay. Then in the last to last lecture we have seen what is collar friction torque. That is MTC is equal to mu c into W upon 4 plus into di plus do. Okay. So we have seen that collar friction torque, and for operation of a screw, we need to overcome two frictions. One is the friction between the threads, that is raising or lowering the load, right? And for that, we use coefficient of friction between the threads. And second is the friction of the collar, right? We will not allow the screw to touch the body of the object, and instead of that, we will use what you can say. We'll use collar and cup. So cup will be fixed to the object, and collar will have a friction between the collar and the cup, and that friction we will try to find out, and we'll use both of these torques and we'll combine them to find out the total torque required. All right, this is the general approach we'll take for any problem of the square piece. Okay, then also like we have seen what is the efficiency of for raising or lowering the load. It is work output. What is the work output? Load you are trying to raise, and by how much distance it is. So load into distance. So load is W, and distance it moves in one rotation is by distance of L lead. So W into L will be your work output, and your input will be P into pi dm. Okay, so we have seen that. So today we will go into more details of overall efficiency. Okay, so I will just share my screen with you guys. Okay, so today we will go through overall efficiency of a screw. We have seen now the efficiency of, we have seen that in last lecture. What is the efficiency? And efficiency is equal to WL upon P pi dm. For square threads, it is tan alpha upon tan phi plus alpha, right? We have seen that also. And we have also seen that for self-locking screw, the efficiency is always less than half, because it is half minus tan square phi by 2. We also seen the efficiency in case of trapezoidal thread is given by tan alpha into 1 minus mu sec theta tan alpha upon mu sec theta plus tan alpha. Okay. So this is the for trapezoidal. Now we'll see what is overall efficiency. Overall efficiency means total input upon total output. What is input? Load into distance. Your load is whatever load you are trying to raise or whatever force you are applying for clamping in a C clamp, or more weight of the vehicle in case of a screw jack. So this load is the load you are trying to raise or load you are trying to apply. Okay. So output is load into distance moved. So see, either we can find out the output for the whole complete cycle of the screw, or we can do it for one cycle, one and the same thing, right? If the output we take it for one rotation of the screw, then this will be W into L, and input is torque you are trying to put, it may be C clamp or screw jack or whatever, torque into 2 pi. 2 pi into torque will give you the input to the your particular what do you say, assembly. So efficiency, overall efficiency is given by WL upon 2 pi MTT. Here W is the load, MTT is total torque. MTT is, we have seen, MTT is the torque required to overcome two friction. First is the raising or lowering of the load MT, and MTC is collar friction torque. MTC is given by mu c into W by 4 in di plus do, and MT is given by, what is that? W into dm by 2 into tan phi plus alpha. Okay. So we will find out total torque as torque required to raise or lower the load plus collar friction torque, and then we will use it for multiplied by 2 pi to get the input. So this is how we will find out the overall efficiency. Now today I will take a numerical of C clamp, basically design of a C clamp. In that we will try to find out torque required to to apply certain force, collar friction torque, then find out total torque and use that torque to find out the overall efficiency. Okay. So this is how we will solve any problem, right, for the overall efficiency. Okay. So I have a 20 minutes or a 17 minutes numerical after this of a design of C clamp. But before that, we have 10 more minutes. So I will try to cover next theory part, that is design of a screw and nut. So for any design of a screw or a nut, what kind of different forces or stresses in that nut? Because this is the topic of that. What are the stresses in a screw? Okay. So we'll try to identify that, and then we'll take a numerical on C clamp. And in tomorrow's lecture, I will take basically design of see, now we will cover this part today, design of C clamp, and to next lecture I will take design of a screw jack, and then last remaining the small theoretical part, and this is the way we will cover this unit. Okay, so let's go through now. So, design of a screw means basically what are the different stresses in screw and nut in case of power screws. Okay, so basically here it is saying that say if we take any assembly, like say take screw jack or lathe, screw we use in lathe or in C clamp. What in there they will have three basically main components of that assembly. First it will be your nut, then will be your frame, or the frame will be the outside part. There will be nut in that frame, nut and screw. So these, as either screw will be moving or nut will be moving. So depending on that, your design will change, but the concept will remain same. So like say take an example of C clamp. So in C clamp we have a frame. Then in that frame the nut will go to and fro, right? And this your nut is attached to the frame. Nut is attached to the frame, and your screw will go to and fro. You put the in case of C clamp or vice, you put torque on at the end of the screw. You will put the torque, and with the torque your screw will go to and fro motion. It will basically rotate and it will go to and fro motion. When with that motion we can apply force, right? So this is, you will see in today's numerical also. But in general we have three parts: screw, nut and frame. Okay. So now what are the for the design, what we need to have basically, first of all, most important, it should take all the stresses, it should not fail. So we will find out what are different stresses in case of nut or screw, and then we will try to find out we will try to find out diameter also do the design. Now so this is the basically a screw which is shown. So it has, if you see, it has a nut outside part, and in that screw will move. Okay, the screw will basically will rotate, and with the rotation it will have a axial movement, right? So in one rotation, it will go ahead by distance of L, that is lead. And for single started thread, L is equal to pitch. Okay. I hope I am pretty clear up to here. Now we will see what are different kinds of failure this screw will go under. So now see, this screw will go under some failure. Like say, assume basic rod or basic core part of the screw. Forget about the threads. Now the core part will have two stresses. Now see, I am going into design part. We are trying to find out what are different stresses and how to calculate those stresses. And if we know those stresses, we can calculate the diameter, right? Very simple. So now screw has how many diameters? One is nominal diameter, outside diameter. One is mean diameter DM and one is core diameter DC. So DC plus D by 2 is your DM. Okay, clear? Okay. So now you are trying to put a torque MTT at the end of the screw, right? Well, that's what we have seen. With the total torque is we have MTT is equal to MT plus MTC, right? So this total torque will be taken care by this central part. Now just forget about the threads and assume central part is there. So this central part have two kinds of loads. One is it has a load W because you are putting a weight or you are holding something. So W is there. So because of that, it will have a compressive force, that is W upon what is the area which is opposing that is pi by DC square, pi by 4 DC square. So that is core diameter. Now see, I am just looking at this core part at the top. See, if it is vertical, you will raise or lower the load. If it is horizontal, you will clamp or hold the what you can say object. But in both cases, W will be your load. So compressive force in the core part of your screw is W upon area opposing that compressive force, and that area opposing is the core part. Core, what is the diameter of the core? Pi by 4 DC square. Very simple. Okay. Now, also you are putting a torque at the end of it. So basically you are having a torsional shear. It will fail because of the torsional shear, right? So for that we have equation, right? Shear stress is equal to MT upon M upon I is equal to sigma B upon m upon sigma tau upon r. So using that equation, we can find out shear stress is equal to 16 mt upon pi d cube. We have seen it many times. Okay. So here 16 mt is the torque you are applying at the end of the screw, and DC is your core diameter because we are considering only the core part. Now, since there are two forces, one is the compressive force and one is the shear force. So that means shear stress, compressive stress and shear stress. So because of the torque, you have compressive stress, and because of the compressive force, we have compressive stress. But since there are two stresses, we have to use a principal because there are two different stresses. So principal stress will be tau max, maximum shear will be root of sigma c by 2 square plus tau square. So this is how you will calculate maximum shear. So for the design, we will be given limiting stress, right? As usual, sigma yt will divide by factor of 50 to get the allowable stress, multiplied by 0.5 to get tau allowable. Are you getting my point? This is how you will do the design. Simple. You will have sigma yt divided by factor of safety to get sigma allowable, multiplied by 0.5 to get allowable shear stress, and use this equation to get the core diameter. Okay, this is the approach we'll take for the design. So we have seen now the core part will fail because of two stresses, compressive and shear stress because of the torsion, and we use combination of these to find out the principal shear stress. Now this part is done for the core. Now what about the threads? Now just look at the threads. Okay. Now the threads will fail because of, say, assume, as I said, as I normally say, how to how to check shear. Assume it is made of a very soft material. So assume you have core made of a thread made of a metal. Okay, and your threads are made of very soft material like a mud or your what you can say, it's very soft like a rubber. It is made of a rubber. So how it will fail? If you put a load, it will shear at the core part. Like say this part, it will shear at this part. Right? Are you getting it? I will just increase the size. So this part, it will shear. Your threads will come down and you will see that screw will look like a rod. It will look like a cylinder. Are you getting my point? So we have to see what is the area which is avoiding this shear is the pi. If you see the perimeter here is pi dc into T. Are you getting my point? What is the perimeter at the core of the thread at the core is pi dc, right? And cylinder of that cylinder, this cylinder, like with the height of the cylinder will be T. So your thread, which is area which is avoiding the shear of the thread is pi dc into t. Are you getting my point? And your number of threads is n, then you will be pi dc t into n or z, whatever it is. We are using z here. Are you getting my point? So shear stress is equal to load you are applying, and the load will be opposed by area pi dc. This is the perimeter of one screw inside. T is your number of your thickness. So this will give you the area of one thread, and Z is number of threads. Are you getting my point? So the shear stress or the area which is avoiding the shear is pi dc Tz, and the shear stress in case of thread will be, or in case of screw will be W upon pi dc Tz. Now similarly, if we see this, go now to the nut. Nut has same thing. Core, because if for the square threads, this will be same, dimensions will be same. But because it is a square thread, right? But now the number of threads will be different, and here the diameter, see now pi dc we took, here the diameter will be pi d, nominal diameter, outside diameter. Are you getting my point? So perimeter, if you now forget about the screw is not there, and nut is made of a soft material, so it will have a hole now. It will not say just this cross section part. It will, it has now here teeth, right? So threads are there. Those will not there if it is made of a soft material. It will, the screw will go just like that, and it will basically have a hole, right? So what is the area which is avoiding is pi d. D is nominal diameter multiplied by thickness multiplied by z. So if you see in case of nut, W upon pi d Tz. Clear? Where is the difference? Is only here DC is taking, because where it will be sharing at the core, and this will be sharing at the core, that is outside part of the nut. Okay. So these are, so we have seen the core of the thread will fail because of the combination of compressive force and shear, torsional shear. The screw will fail, might fail in shear, and nut might fail in shear. And the last part is the, your thread will have a bearing pressure. The thread will have to take a load from the top. Like if you consider the top portion of the each thread, it has to take a load of W. Now what is the area which is taking that load W? It is pi by 4 d minus d square minus dc square. Outside diameter of this thread is d, inside diameter is dc. So the area which is basically, if it is a what is it, area of a disc having a hole at it. So what is that area? Pi by 4 d square minus dc square. So if you see here, pi by 4 d square minus dc square, this is the for one thread, this is the area which is taking load W, and multiplied by z number of threads, you will get the total. So bearing pressure of on a thread will be load upon pi by 4 d square minus dc square into z. Okay. So this will basically come to 4W upon pi z d square minus dc square. So basically these are the stresses in a screw. So we have seen compressive for the core of the thread, compressive sigma c, compressive stress, as well as stress because of the torsional shear. Combination of one of those to find out the principal shear first. Second, the screw will fail in shear at the root DC, nut will fail in the shear at the root D, and the screw will have a bearing load, that is W upon area of the one screw, taking that pi by 4 DC square, D square minus DC square multiplied number of threads. So, okay, so this is the, these are the different stresses. Now we'll see application of this in designing, while designing a screw job. Like we will at that time we'll design the threads and all that. Okay, that time we'll also find out the core diameter, number of threads, all that. Okay, so these are the stresses in a screw and nut. So next time we will see what you can say, design of a screw jack. That time we'll go through all these this thing. But now for today's numerical, we are going to take a numerical on C clamp, and just give me 1 minute. You know, I will need to copy that because it's in my phone, and if I need to play that video, I need to have a copy of that, and I haven't copied it because I just made the lecture and I totally forgot it. Okay, so let me just quickly copy that, and while I am copying it, we'll talk about. Okay, just give me 1 minute, guys. And that is a 17-minute video. So I hope, I don't know whether we will be able to finish it today, but if we are not, okay, just give me 1 minute. it's copying. Okay. So, where were we? So we have today we have seen first of all we there was a pending part of finding out the overall efficiency. So we have seen that finding out the overall efficiency of a screw, that is MT T is equal to MT plus MTC. MT is torque to raise or lower the load, and MTC is collar friction torque. And then we have seen uh, you guys can hear me, right? Okay. And then we have seen to find out the using those addition of these two, we'll get the total torque, and you will use the total torque to find out the what you can say total torque required and or the overall efficiency. We'll use that this torque in multiplied by 2 pi will get the will get the input, and output will be W upon L. Okay. So my video is copied. I will play that, and I will have today's numerical. Okay, so if you guys cannot hear me the video, let me know. Okay, share screen, share video. Okay, so I will go through the numerical as usual. I'll go through the numerical while. Good morning, guys. Today we are going to go through numerical of design of C clamp, or basically design of a screw. In the next stage, we will go for detailed design of the threads of the screw, and also design of a screw jack. Today's lecture, we are going to see an example of C clamp or any device. Okay, so I will go through the numerical as usual. I will go through the numerical. While going through, we will write down what is given information, and from that we will try to identify what to what is the approach, or how your attacking attack should be there, like which are the steps you are going to take to solve this problem. Okay, so I will go through the numerical slowly one by one. Okay, a machine voice. So we have given a voice diagram is given. So it is a voice in frame. The frame will be fixed, right? Then you can move this screw. It is movable screw or movable jaw. You can rotate the screw, and with the rotation you will get a movement. And with the movement you can apply like basically thrust or force, or you can hold any object in between these jaws like a clamp. Okay, and to apply that, to move this moving jaw horizontally along the axis of the screw, we will use this handle. We can, at the end of the handle, we can apply force, and the force into this distance where we are applying the force will be your torque for the application of the your force. Okay, so with the rotation of the handle, you can move the screw, and accordingly you will handle, you can hold the object. That is the concept. So we have a machine voice which has a single start rate. So we know that L is equal to P. When we say single start, that means L lead is equal to pitch. Okay, we have square threads. So it is a problem of square threads with a nominal diameter. So we have given nominal diameter. What is nominal? It is outside diameter. So we have given D as 22 mm and P as 5 mm. So now immediately we can write P is equal to, because it is single thread screw, pitch is equal to lead is equal to 5 mm. So we know diameter, we know pitch, we can find out the mean diameter. Right? So DM mean diameter of a screw is equal to nominal diameter minus 0.5 of pitch. We have seen that, right? So if it is a square thread like this, so this is 0.5 P. So the DM mean diameter, this diameter is equal to D minus 0.5 P. Okay, so we'll see that while solving the problem. But we can find out the nominal mean diameter which we use for our calculation. Okay, so now we'll go to the next part, that is the outer and inner diameter of the collar. So we have a collar, so that is also given. So we have DO as 55 mm and DI as 45 mm. So we have two diameters, inside and outside diameter of the collar. So using these diameters, very simply we can calculate collar friction torque, right? So we will for any problem, in the screw problem, we'll have two kinds of we have to overcome two kinds of frictions. So one is the friction between the threads, that is MT, torque required to raise or lower the load, right? And then we will have a torque because of collar friction torque, right? That is mu C into W by 4 DI plus DO. So we know Ti and Do. So if we know the coefficient of friction and load, we can find out this. Or if we know the torque, then we can find out the load. Okay. So we have noted it down. And the machinist can comfortably apply a force of 125 Newton. So machinist here, machinist will be working where? And the handle part. He or she can apply a force of 125 Newton at the handle at the main radius of 150 mm. So we know that force applied F, or we can say P, is 125 Newton. Load applied at the here, and R for that is 50 mm. So immediately looking at that, we know the torque which the person can apply here is 125 into 50, right? Okay. So now we have to assume uniform wear theory. That means simply we will use uniform wear theory, alright? And we have to find out clamping force developed between the jaws. So that means we have to find out force here. Like we have to find out P. Like what is the force, or we can say F. What is the force developed between the jaws, and we have to find out overall efficiency. So we have to find efficiency overall. Overall efficiency we have seen in the lecture that it is the WL upon 2 pi torque. What is the, we'll talk about it, but it is load into distance. Load is moved by how much distance? Maybe, and for that we will take one rotation of the screw. So load into distance W into L upon 2 pi torque is your input. So output upon input will give you the overall efficiency. Right. So we will now try to solve this problem with this. Now, what will be your action? How you will attack this problem is, okay. So we have to find out this W. This is W load. Basically, we have to find out. Okay. Now we know the problem. Now we'll see how you will attack it. Okay. How we solve the problem? Now we know that since it is the problem of square threaded screw, we need to this is W load. So there will be two torques. One is empty, right? Torque to overcome the friction between the surfaces of the thread. That is torque W empty, and that is given by W into dm by 2, right? Into tan phi plus alpha. Right. This is one torque, and then MTC, that is collar friction torque, will be given by the mu c into W by 4 pi mu plus di, right? So this is we know, and in total torque is equal to MTC, MT plus MTC, right? This will be the total. This is these are the different kinds of torques which this will have, and then we have to find out. And this, now see, actually this is the torque which we have to overcome for the friction between the threads. So here in this case, friction between the threads will be coming into picture, and coefficient of friction is given. It was given, right? Maybe I don't. It was. So it is mu is given for thread is 0.15. Mu for thread it is 0.15, and mu for collar is given as 0.17. It was given. Maybe I missed that sentence. So collar here the friction between collar, friction between surfaces of the thread will come into picture. That is this friction threads, and here you see will come into picture. So we have to work out these two frictions, and then whatever total torque required, that torque will be applied by this. This will be 150 into that effort 125. So 125 into 50, this torque will be taken by this. So we will match total torque 125 into 50. Total torque applied is equal to torque for the threads, overcome the raise or lower the load, and this is torque for the collar friction. Okay. So now in this we can find out this easily. This is torque. This total torque is equal to torque input. This is P into R. This we can find. MT here we W we have to find out what is the load applied with this job, or what is the effort output we will get. So this is we have to find out. Dm is we can find out from D, nominal diameter D, then we can find out Dm, and we have to find. So what we have to find out? We have to find out Dm, then we have to find out phi, we have to find out alpha, right? Here we will find Pi is given, which is given, we can find other things. So these are the things which we need for the solving the problem. Are you getting it? So like this is how we will try to solve the problem. So first thing is that DM, mean diameter. The mean diameter is equal to D minus 0.5P. So it is 22 minus 0.5 of 5. This is 2.5. 22 minus 2.5 will be getting 19.5 mm. So your mean diameter will be, let me just verify that DM is 19.5. Okay. Now to find out phi and alpha, so we got this 19.5 mm. Okay. Now phi is what? Tan phi is equal to mu. Right. So mu is given as 0.15. So phi is equal to tan inverse of 0.15. That is phi is 8.531. This is degree, right? 8.531 degree. Okay. Now alpha is what you know, tan alpha L upon pi d. Right. So we know we have found out the length d is equal to 5 pi and d is equal to 19.5. Right. So with this we will get alpha as phi upon 19.5. So we will get this alpha as 4.66. So this is 4.66. So we got both the angles. Helix angle as 4.66, angle of the friction as 8.52, and we got the mean diameter. Now we can find out different torques. We can find out the MT, we can find out MTC, collar friction torque, and we can find out the total torque, and we can find out accordingly load, right? Which we can what you can say load up, which we can exert with this jump. Okay. So first MT will be W into dm by 2, right? Tan phi plus alpha. We will put the value. MT is equal to W will be, this is what we have to find out. dm is 19.5 upon 2 into tan phi is 8.531 plus 4.66. So we will get that MT torque. You know, to raise the load we'll get it as 2.286 W. 2.286 W. This is Newton mm. Okay. Okay. So we got this W, MT. Now we will try to find out MTC. So we got MT as 2.286 Newton mm. Now MTC is MT, the collar pressure torque is mu c W upon 4 dO plus dr. Right? So here mu c is given as 0.17 into W, we don't know. 4 into dO is 55 plus 45. Right? Let me just see. Okay. So we will get a 4.25 W. This is 4.25 W. So MT, collar friction torque is, this is Newton mm. Okay. So we'll write it. Okay. So we'll write this MTC as, we got MTC as 4.25 W. This is W. Newton mm. So we got collar friction torque, we got total torque, and now we know that total torque is equal to MT plus MTC, collar friction torque. So it is equal to, now what is the torque? Total torque. This torque will be overcome by torque. So now let's set that. Now MTC is equal to P into L or R, we can see in this case. So now this is the handle, right? This is the P and this is R. Right? So P into R will be your this thing. So P is what? 125, R is 50. So this will be whatever it becomes, this will be 1250 into 5. This will be 0 compared to 750. So this will be 750 Newton. Okay, so we'll put that here, right? So 7250 is equal to 2.286 W plus 4.25 W. Getting it? So this is the total torque. W is equal to 227. Okay. And we will from this we will get W as that is load we or the force we can exert is 2868.7. 2868.7. So this is the load or force we can exert, using this wise. So basically what we did, we found out the torque required to overcome the frictional force of the threads, torque required to, that means raise or lower the load, and torque required to overcome the collar friction. The total torque will be torque given by the input or the operator. Okay, so this is the first part of the conversion. We found out the force exerted by the jaw. Now we have to find out simple overall efficiency. Now this is the force. Now we haven't written total. We know that, right? So that's right. So we found out this thing. Now total torque is what? It is the total torque in the sum of the two torques, which is basically equal to torque given by the input. So that was we calculated as 125 into 50. I think it was something 7. What we got? We got something 750, 12750, something like that. Whatever it is. So this is the total torque, right? And this is unit is Newton, mm. And overall efficiency now, and overall efficiency is your back. What is that? Input upon output. Input is what is the distance your screw moves by one rotation, and into 2 pi mdt. Total torque into 2 pi will be your input, right? So this will be load is what is load W. What is the force exerted? We have calculated it. W we calculated. That is 2868.73. 2868.73 into L length 5. This is the input. Your load or the force exerted into that it will move by distance of 5 mm in one rotation, and your 2 pi into 125 into 50. This will be your torque, right? Input torque. 150, 125 to 150. It is 150. This thing is given as 150. Yeah, it is 150. Okay. So with this we will get overall efficiency as 0.1218. 0.1218. That means overall efficiency is 12.18%. So your screw overall efficiency is 12.18%. Okay. So this is how we will simply attack any like C-clamp problem. We will get input by applying force at the end of the handle, so which will basically create a torque. That force into this distance will be your input torque, and that will be transferred. This torque will be matched by the total torque which is required to overcome the friction. That is, there are two frictions: friction for the collar, friction for the raising or lowering the load, and we can find out the corresponding load. Okay. Okay, guys. I think that was the example of design of a C clamp. So hopefully it is clear to you guys now. Let me just see who are present. Let me take the attendance. Okay. How many? 10? Just now there were 12 actually. Okay. So that's it. So the next time we will see the design of a screw jack, if possible. First, before that, we'll just go through different stresses, and then we'll see design of a screw jack. Now that is the last part.